Got $1,000 to your name? Then you're already richer than a massive chunk of the planet. You just don't know it yet. Nobody ever told you where you actually stand. Here's the thing. Almost nobody knows their real spot on the money ladder. We feel broke because we only ever look up at the people above us. We never look down and see how far we've already climbed. So let's fix that. Today, I'm walking you up that ladder, one rung at a time. And somewhere on the way up, you're gonna spot yourself. Probably not where you think. How rich are you really, compared to everybody else? Quick heads up before we start. These numbers shift depending on your age and where you live. So treat this like a map, not a scorecard. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to show you something nobody ever bothered to. Funny thing about money. Ask almost anyone, the guy barely scraping by, the woman with a paid-off house, and they all say the same thing. I'm middle class. Everybody thinks they're smack in the middle. But come on, we can't all be in the middle. Money's a ladder. The bottom rungs are packed, and a tiny handful sit way up top. So wherever you're standing, the view is lying to you. And the thing that actually decides your spot, it's not your salary, it's your net worth. Everything you own, minus everything you owe. That one number is where you really stand, nothing else. So let's start at the very bottom and climb. And fair warning, the bottom is way more crowded and way closer to you than you probably want to admit. Level 1, below zero. A scary number of grown adults are worth less than nothing. They owe more than they own. Student loans, the car, the credit cards. On paper, they're underwater. And here's what nobody says out loud. A lot of these people drive nice cars, live in nice places, look like they've got it all figured out. But looking rich and being rich are two totally different things. This is the most disguised level there is. If this is you, don't panic. Seriously, this is the starting line for a huge number of people, including a ton who ended up wealthy. You climb the ladder from right here, not from somewhere nicer. Level 2, 0 to 10 grand. The day your net worth crosses zero, something quietly huge happens. You finally own more than you owe. Maybe it's just a few $100. Doesn't matter. You flipped from negative to positive, and almost nobody even notices the day it happens. Once you've got a few thousand saved and no nasty high-interest debt, you're already ahead of a big slice of people. Not because the number's big, because so many never claw their way out of the red at all. But this level's shaky. One emergency, one dead car, one hospital bill, and boom, you're back below zero overnight. That's why the first real goal isn't getting rich. It's getting hard to knock down. Level 3, the first 100 grand. This is the one that changes everything, and it's brutal. That first 100,000 is the hardest money you'll ever build, because it's basically all you. Dollar by dollar, sweat by sweat. Growth's barely helping yet, but push past it and suddenly, you're in a pretty small club. In a lot of the world, 6 figures puts you near the top 10%. And the best part, you're not pushing alone anymore. Your money finally starts pulling its weight. There's this old line from a legendary investor. He said the first 100 grand is a real pain, but you've got to grind it out. After that, it gets way easier. Because now growth does the job your paycheck used to do solo. So if you're anywhere near this, get what it actually means. You did the hard part. From here, the math stops fighting you and starts working for you. Level 4, $500,000. At $500,000, money just feels different. It stops being this thing you chase every single month. It turns into a quiet engine humming away in the background of your life. At this point, your investments can pull in tens of thousands a year all on their own. Think about that. Your money might out-earn a full-time job in a single year. And yeah, you're now sitting well inside the top slice of households. But watch out, because there's a trap here. People see that number climbing and quietly start spending to match. Bigger house, nicer car, and just like that, They hit the brakes on their own climb without even realizing it. Level 5. The millionaire. Say millionaire and your brain jumps to yachts and mansions. Reality? Kinda boring. Most millionaires live in regular houses, drive regular cars, and look exactly like your neighbors. Because, well, they are your neighbors. $1 million sounds massive, and globally it lands you around the top 1%. But it's way more common than the movies make it look. Most people who got there did it slow and quiet, over decades, never once looking the part. And this is the big secret about real money. The loudest spenders are usually the most broke. And the quiet folks on your street, half the time they're the ones who actually made it. Real wealth whispers. Debt is the one shouting. So the millionaire next door isn't some fairy tale. It's a normal person who just spent less than they made and let time handle the rest. And that door is way more open to you than anyone told you. Level 6. The very top. Up at the top of the ladder, the numbers stop feeling real. We're talking many millions. Up here, the question isn't, how do I get by? It's, what do I even do with money that's never going to run out? In a lot of countries, cracking the actual top 1% takes several million, not one. And get this, the gap between the top 1% and the top 0.1% is bigger than the gap between you and a millionaire. Let that sink in. But here's what nobody at the bottom ever realizes. Past a certain point, more money stops changing your day at all. Going from broke to comfortable changes everything. Going from rich to richer, you can barely feel it. Okay, now here's the twist that blows the whole ranking apart. You can make a fortune and still be broke. There are people pulling 300 grand a year with basically nothing saved because they blow every dollar the second it hits their account. Meanwhile, there are teachers and plumbers on normal salaries, quietly retiring as millionaires. The ladder was never about how much comes in. It's about how much you keep and grow. That's why your paycheck is a garbage way to measure your rank. Income is just water running through the pipe. Wealth is what you actually catch in the bucket, and most people stare at the flow, while the bucket sits there empty. So if you've been sizing yourself up by your salary this whole time, toss that number out. The real ladder is built on what stays, not on what shows up. So why do you probably feel poorer than you actually are? Because you're stacking your real life up against a highlight reel. Every time you pick up your phone, you're seeing the best 10 seconds of 1,000 different people. The trips, the cars, the wins, all blended into one endless feed. And your brain treats that feed like it's your neighborhood. Like that's the normal you're supposed to hit. But it's not normal. It's a setup. And measuring yourself against it'll make you feel broke at literally any level. The fix is stupid simple, but it works. Compare yourself to where you were last year, not to some stranger online. Because on the real ladder, you're almost definitely higher than that feed makes you feel. So what does climbing this thing actually get you? Not stuff. The real prize, at every single level, is options. The option to walk away from a bad job, to handle an emergency without your stomach dropping, to actually sleep at night. Wealth is really just freedom with a dollar sign on it. That's why going from below zero to just plain stable is the most valuable jump you'll ever make. It buys you peace. Everything after that just buys you more choices. So how do you climb one bracket from right where you're standing? 3 moves. Doesn't matter what level you're on. 1. Open up the gap between what you make and what you spend, even a little. 2. Fire that gap straight into investments automatically, before your hands can touch it. 3. Leave it alone and let time do the heavy lifting. That's it. That's the whole thing. The moves are identical whether you're crawling out of the red or sitting on $500,000. The only thing that changes is the size of the steps. The playbook never does. So climb one bracket this year, then one more next year. Stack enough of those and one day you'll look back and realize you quietly passed people you used to think lived on another planet. So where'd you land? Somewhere on that ladder you found yourself. And honestly, You're probably standing higher than you ever gave yourself credit for. Drop a comment and tell me which level you're on right now. Be real about it. I think you'll be shocked how many people are standing right there next to you. And if you want to understand the actual machine that decides who climbs and who stays stuck, go watch my video on how the money system really works next. Knowing your rank is step 1, changing it is step 2.